Is it working? Let's see. It looks like it's working. Waiting for me. Ah. Okay. Okay, if you're here, say hi. I'm trying something a bit different this time with the music is actually playing in the apartment right now. Before it was just playing only through the computer, so you guys are the only ones who could hear it. I could not hear it before. So this time I want to hear it and you can hear it as well. And I've kind of set the screen up now also to be like divided a little bit more evenly. I think it was taking up some space in the screen to have the picture of the artifact just kind of sitting there. So I can still see it on the iPad, but now you don't have to, you can see more of my face, my lovely face. Okay, I don't know if anybody is here yet, so I'm just gonna wait until I see someone else join. Okay, I don't know if anyone is here yet, but I'll just start talking and drawing. So this drawing looks pretty different since the last time that I worked on it. The last time I worked on it was on the first live stream, and then I just did an update through Patreon. So you haven't really seen me work on this. Let me see if I can do like a little replay that will actually show the drawing. Time-lapse replay, let's see. Oh, so the canvas originally had these girls on there. There we go. That's why they showed up at the beginning. Okay, so here it was. So let's see. Here's the sketch going. And yeah, this is what I did on the live stream before, which was very difficult to talk and get these proportions set up, but it's here. Okay, we'll see this and then we'll see, you'll be able to see what I've done. So there I just swatched the color from the photograph of the image. So I just like, the image popped up for a brief second so that I could take the colors from it. So you see it's matching the colors of the image, which are good, but ultimately like they're pretty cold and there's not a lot of life in this. So I changed the color scheme on the second time around. So then now I'm actually starting to add color, yellow tones, warm tones, and I've gone in and I have blended a bunch. So I'm gonna rewind it. So you see her face here, everything is pretty rough texture wise, like on her cheekbones and on her face. And then I did a little bit of some liquefying tools. So if you watch her eyebrows and her mouth, they kind of change shape. Yeah, right there, they change shape. So there's a little tool that I took and I kind of like pulled her eyes around and her mouth around to get the shape a little more close to the original. So now I've taken this kind of airbrush and sort of blended some of the shading on her face, and so now it looks a lot smoother around her eyes and her mouth. And then now I'm adding in more details on the headdress here. So I think that the colors are much better. This feels less like a statue and more like a person, which is, I guess, kind of what I ended up wanting more, is for it to look like a person. So I'm deciding here if I should put eyebrows on or not, but I can't make the decision. So maybe you guys will have to help me decide if I should keep the eyebrows or not. Okay, let me just check something. Oh, okay. Someone else is here. Good. It's not just me talking to myself, which is fine, but it'd be nice if there was at least one person on the other end, and there is. Yeah, so there's my little spiel about where this drawing has come from, where it is now. The plan for today is to try to get in some more details on our necklace and the kind of jewelry that's coming off of the headdress there. So that's the plan. And while I do that, we're going to talk about Marley's here. Yay, hi. Thanks for coming. Woo! I'm going to just talk about how the first 2.5 weeks now have gone of my PhD. I'm very tired today. It's been already a long week and it's Wednesday. There's some not so great things going on in the world, so that's been taking its emotional toll on me. And I started reading some of the books and texts on disability theory. And a lot of that is, so far that I've read, is stuff about like the origins of our society's, how do I put it, not liking people who are disabled and othering them, for lack of something more eloquent right now. I'm still formulating my thoughts, but the readings that I've been doing have been very interesting, but also extremely upsetting and eye-opening, and it's made me feel like very emotional. And I knew that this would be something that would happen because the topic of accessibility is something that I felt passionately about for a while now, and specifically like in the last 5 years when I started learning how to use the accessible features on the Apple software and helping people who are disabled, blind, neurodivergent, to use technology in a way that helps them rather than hinders them. But now I'm learning a lot about the history of just how disability is perceived in America and the UK and just Europe in general, and like the concept of normal and what's normal and being normal and being like able-bodied. And there's just like, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff in there that I had no idea about. I didn't know that the term normal and like a normal or average person is a concept that only came about in like less than the last 150 years or so. It was like I think it was like in the 1850s or something like that. These guys started getting into statistics and trying to find like, they're putting all of the people, their height or whatever, in a graph and trying to find like where the bell curve is, the mean, and anything that goes from, on either side of that is a deviation, and that the average person is of sound mind and sound body, and anybody who is outside of that is not. And it's really crazy how like people used to link, and still do, bodies that are outside of the average as being like linking, like showing something about their character as a person and their mental faculties. It's all just extremely upsetting things, categorizing people and like putting them into boxes and just like there's a lot of upsetting stuff that I was reading about, like Darwin's evolution being connected to early eugenics movement thinking. So the eugenicists were using Darwin's theory of evolution to like as the biological practice like of that theory of like survival of the fittest and how evolution can change a species. And so the eugenicists were using that theory to talk about eradicating people with disabilities or just like stopping any disabilities and like wanting to sterilize people who had disabilities so they wouldn't reproduce. And that the fact that it wasn't a fringe movement either is something I just read and just blew my mind. It was like people who were in power, and like a majority of the people in the UK and America were thinking this way. Like Winston Churchill, all these people like prior to World War II, they were all thinking this. And even some like nature magazines supported these eugenics like concepts and things, and it's just like it's really fucked up. And how those ideas and the ways that people were thinking back then are still influencing the way that people think about people with disabilities now. And people with disabilities are just trying to fucking live their lives, man, and they're like the last 150 years or so for people with disabilities have been like very bad, but most recently things have gotten better. But yes, so I'm learning a lot about that, and I want to learn more. I want to understand this whole part of life and history. And I read some stories today that were stories from disabled people about their lives. And again, it was something extremely emotional. So I had to just kind of take a break for like the last half of the day. And I came home and I did just reading in the bed because I was just like, couldn't catch my breath for most of the day. And, but was so like engrossed in it because it was these like really crazy stories and really horrible things that I'm like, I cannot believe this stuff happened. And the fact that I wasn't aware of it as somebody who is like pretty well educated, it just makes me think like how little people know about the history of disability and just in general, and how I want to be a voice for that and to tell people about that so that there can be further changes in this and the world can be made into a place that's accessible for everybody. So this is just the start. Yeah, Marley didn't know about that, but it makes sense. It does make sense. Yeah, once I'm reading all this, I'm like, man, didn't know any of this, but wow, okay, this is why people think this way. You know, there's just so much. There's so much that I read just in the last like 2.5 days, because this is my week where I'm looking at disability stage, just trying to get a broad overview of it. My professor told me to write up like 5,000 words at least by the end of the month of kind of like flyover of my topic. So I have 3 veins for my topic. So I'm looking at disability theory this week. Next week it'll probably be like accessibility and inclusivity in museums and how they program for it and what they've been doing with that and like what's going on with it now and where there might be some needs. And then the other one is digital technologies used in an accessible way. So assistive technologies and like, you know, the stuff like that's on the iPads and on the Apple devices, and then, you know, those kind of things. And that's going to be where like we might look at what kind of assistive technologies are being used in museums. I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, this is just kind of like just starting out, getting into the readings and trying to find the get a good overview for things. So I kind of read a bit of the history of accessibility and the stories, like personal accounts people have right now, the way that it's like evolved in academia, some of the language and things that are being used, and that's kind of just what I've done in the last couple of days. So I'll probably do some more reading tomorrow's Thursday, maybe just for like half the day, and then give myself some time to think, and then spend, Friday and probably bits of Saturday writing that up. So it's been this is the beginning of the PhD. I'm doing the PhD now, so it's very exciting. Kelsey says hi, and she got me on the chat, something. Oh, my sibling says hello. Hi, sibling. Okay. So that's been today. It's been a bit of a heavy day emotionally. I think I have to keep this research diary. I don't have to, but it's a thing PhD people do, and so I just kind of write down, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. It's my notes for the day, and I had to just, I'm also just using it as like a diary, and so I wrote down a lot of the thoughts that I had, very complicated thoughts and emotions and deep feelings like come up after all of this stuff, and I think that's important for me to make note of what those feelings are now, because my knowledge and my feelings are going to change and evolve as this goes on, as I keep reading and learning and having experiences. And I think this is going to be a wild fucking time. This is going to be extremely transformative, and I knew it was going to be like, I want to be this expert, and my supervisor told me, you need to become an expert in disability and accessibility just as you are in material cultures and material studies. So, this whole entire first year of the PhD, the way that I've been explained to that this is structured is the whole first year is mostly reading. It's just reading. So every day I'm going to be reading and writing and thinking and looking at the past and the present and trying to see what has happened and what's going on and where I can do some research, where I can contribute my own original piece of knowledge into all of it. And towards the end of this first year, so around like May, I'm going to prepare a plan for the second year, which is the year of doing research, where maybe I'll travel, or that'll be like the bulk of the experimentation, or maybe I'll do surveys, maybe I'll put on an art exhibit, maybe I'll contact different museums and go like see what kind of things they're doing for accessibility. Like, I have no idea yet. There's so many things that can be done. It's just figuring out what of those things am I really drawn to. There's just endless amounts of PhD topics out there for this, and so it's really a matter of narrowing it down, and that makes my chest hurt a little bit because it's so enormous. But I think the more I read and the more I pay attention to what I am feeling and what I'm drawn to and the ideas and the thoughts that I have while I'm reading this stuff, that will like guide me in a certain direction. So if I keep track of that, and then if I speak about these things with the supervisor, we can start to kind of like plot a course and get an idea of like which direction I should go on. And I know it's very fluid, and they always say, oh, it could change a lot, and it will, which is exciting too. And this is so cool that this is my life right now. Oh, my grandma's here too. Hi, Grandma. Hi, everybody. Oh, all of the people that I love are here right now. This is nice. And I'm just like going on about this. I needed to talk to you guys. I needed to talk to you. I was feeling so emotional today. This is a lot. It's exciting, but it's a lot. So much change and so many things have happened. And I'm really trying to push myself to be the best scholar and best Shelby and best a international abroad citizen of the world, and you know, finding like the balance and what makes me happy and getting that happiness and all that. But some days I just want to curl up over there and not do anything, and I have to do that sometimes because I have to remind myself that I am doing a lot right now. I'm doing a lot, trying to keep my health good, and I'm waking up in the morning and doing Pilates every single day and running every single morning and making breakfast. And like, I was thinking I would go into the museum office pretty much every day because it's literally right down the road from here, like 5 minutes away. But I have to get up and like I have to put my makeup on and like wear my clothes, you know. And when I go out, I want to embody academic Shelby. And today I did that, and I was just dragging my feet. My body was like, don't do this. Don't do this. Because ultimately I can just study and be wherever I want to be. I don't have to go into that office, but I want to because I want to see all the people who are in there. I want to become part of that community. I want to make the connections with all the professors and the other PhD students and researchers, and just have my face around there. And I'm doing that. But I think I need to give myself a break and not do it like 5 days a week, because today I definitely felt like, oh, I'm extremely tired and a bit burnt out from doing this every single day, getting there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so I think maybe tomorrow I'll just have like a work from home day. So I'm just still figuring out what works for me, figuring out what times of the day are the best times of the day to work and go for walks and, you know, do what I need to do so that my brain works when I need it to work, and that I don't get too stressed to where when I need to work I can't do it because I'm like pushing myself too hard. I don't want that. But maybe I also need to accept that some days I'm not gonna get it right and it's not gonna be perfect, and I'll just not be able to pull as much out of myself as I want to, and I just have to be okay with that. Okay, let's start drawing on this. There was something else I was gonna say, but in a bit I'll tell you about how the museum curation thing is going. And then if you have any questions or want to know anything, you can put it into the chat. And it'd be nice to know what everybody is doing right now. I think my mom must be at home if my sibling is there with her. And Marley's probably at work right now. And I think my grandma is with my grandfather because he's at the doctor. So, Grandma, I hope Grandpa's doing okay. And that you're okay too. Okay, let's see. What shall we do with her here? I'm gonna do the necklace. Yeah, okay. We're gonna do the necklace here. What color should I make this? Probably this color. Which layer should I put it on? This one. Okay. So this little beads, what do they look like? Yeah, okay, here we go. opposite. All right, I'm putting these little lines into the beads here. I'm gonna just take a little breather and then I'll talk some more in a second. Let me know if you can't hear me or I'm talking too quietly or anything like that. Oh, come back. There you go. Oh. Okay, so I'll tell you guys about my museum curation thing. So that's probably another reason why I'm tired, is because I'm doing that as well. So basically, you probably already saw it on my Instagram, but I got this position for volunteering at the art museum here in Leicester, and I told the volunteer coordinator that I hadn't gotten to do my museum placement when I was in Durham because of the pandemic. And so she was really like, okay, maybe I'll get you in to do something with the collections, because I said I wanted like hands-on experience doing collections management, because that's what I wanted to do, was that like collections management where you're handling artifacts and like processing all the new objects that come in. You're dealing with loans that are going out to other museums. You're checking the health of the objects and like cataloging them and just doing these kind of things. And so I told her I wanted to do that. And then she gave me a call last week and she's, Shelby, I've got, we're doing this project right now, and we're gonna do some curation. We're gonna curate this new exhibit called Leicester Vistas, and I was wondering if you wanted to be the lead volunteer coordinator, curator. What should I say? Lead curator of exhibition volunteer, something like that. She wanted to know if I wanted to do that. She's like, I know you didn't get to have this experience before, so it's my job to give people the experience that they wouldn't be able to get at a museum normally because of whatever, job, work-life commitments, something like that. So I want to give that to you, basically. And I had to basically decide on the spot because the exhibit has extremely quick turnaround. So most exhibitions take at least 1.5 to 2 years to plan. But this one, I guess they had some exhibit that fell through. So they had some space, this big gallery actually. They were going to put something into it, and then turns out they're not doing it for whatever reason. And the exhibit that's in there has to come down. It's like reaching the end of its lifespan. And so they have to put something new. So they're going to utilize their existing collection of paintings of Leicester, like different scenes all around Leicester. And they're going to combine it with the archives. So they inherited this huge archive of photos from like City Hall or something like that. It was a crazy thing where there were like 30 giant cases of old photos, like public record photos from Leicester from like the last 150 years. And they have been given this, and they're supposed to like give it to some other government body eventually, but they've been given this collection of photos or negatives and glass plates and things that all need to be scanned and digitized, and it's thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures. So the volunteer coordinator has been bringing people in to work on the archives, and that's originally what I went in for. So now they're going to combine these archives that everyone has been working on with the paintings. So like if they're going to do this kind of like side-by-side thing where they have a painting of the Leicester Cathedral, and then next to it they're going to have a bunch of pictures of the cathedral from the city archives, or like they've got, some pictures of some street that doesn't exist anymore, so they'll like have that street, and then they'll have some paintings. So it's basically going to be this kind of almost like a one-for-one thing where it's like paintings of the city from the 1800s and then more modern pictures kind of around it. So just showing the community, what this place used to look like. I think they should call it something else. I asked them, I was like, is that the name you want? Like, I think it should be something more along the lines of like a changing landscapes, Leicester's like growing landscapes, or like something like that, because vistas is like evoking, scenic viewpoints, and that's like not what this is about. This is just different parts of the city everywhere. Either way, I get to work on it, and so I had my first day working on it. Oh, thank you, Marley. That is a great opportunity. Yeah, so I had my first day working on it whenever I posted about that. Tuesday, yesterday. Yeah. So I had my first day working on it on Tuesday. So I asked her, like, what am I going to do? And she just named off a bunch of random stuff. And I'm like, okay. I don't know. We'll see if I can do that. I don't know. I've never done these things before. And then we get in, and she's showing me this PowerPoint they've compiled that has the painting and then the negative, the film photo next to it, and like they've numbered it and they've labeled it with the location in the city of where it is, but it's just all completely random and all over the place, and there's like 40 slides, there's like 40 paintings, there's so much stuff going on. And so I'm just sitting there looking at this. I'm like, what's the theme here? Like, what's the narrative you're going to tell? Right now we just have like, here's picture, here's painting, here's photo. Like when you go into an exhibit, the ones I really like is where it like leads you through a story or teaches you something, or like just it enlightens you in some way, or you come out with some kind of like thought afterwards. Interpretation is what it's called, like gallery interpretation. And so I was wondering, like I just asked her a ton of questions, like, what do you have? Do you have anyone writing anything for this? Do you have like a topic? So she's like, no. Not really. I was thinking maybe the river. And this lady, she's like a squirrel person. She's one of those, that's the kind of person you have to be a volunteer coordinator, where you're coordinating like 300 people constantly. She's just like, her energy is all over the place, and she's just talking. I'm like, how does she even like get an idea pinned down? So we just sat there, and that's kind of what I thought, okay, I need to like get this out of her, of like where this exhibit is going and what the plan is. So then I just had some ideas. I'm like, what about we get like a map of the city, and we, set the paintings up based on like the different areas of the city maybe. Or maybe we just theme it around like the city center instead of these like random places all over, or and so she's like, oh yeah. So we print off this like old map of the city and print out all the slides, and I cut out all these little sticky notes with like the names of the locations on them. And then she knows the city. She's lived here her whole life, so she's like putting all of the sticky notes like on this map, and then we're able to see like the kind of outliers that don't fit in with any. They're not like clustered with anything. So there's a couple we can just kind of take off, and then we have, you know, the areas. So then that's how we can then take the paintings and group them on the walls. And I had this idea, like what I wanted was like something like where you had this old map of the city, and maybe coming out of the old map you have like lines, and then you have like the different photos or paintings or something like that are connecting it to the map so people can visualize this is where this thing is. There's some things that are iconic, but I wanted it to connect to like the place, the physical like place that we're looking at through a map, through that as like a visualizer. So I think she's gonna do something like that. She's like, we're gonna basically print off this like, or get some of their historic maps and just kind of put them up into each like corner quadrant of the gallery, and then show like this section of the gallery is this part of the city on the map somehow. So we kind of like, we laid it all out on a piece of paper and came up with a pretty like not bad little layout of everything. So I'm very happy with the fact that I actually got to help like decide where these things are going. And then on Friday I get to come in, and one of the staff is going to show me how to use this software that they have that has like a 3D model or blueprint or something of the gallery in it, like the gallery walls, that space, and then you can put in the measurements of a painting, and then you can like mock it up on this software. So if I know we have 6 paintings that need to go in this one space, and I know all their measurements, I can input all of that, and I'll get little basically stickies that can be put into that space and just see if it'll all fit. So I get to do that on Friday. I'm very excited. This is very good and very cool that I get to have this experience of curating an exhibit. What? This is what I've been waiting for, to do something like this. Man, it's so exciting. Oh, yeah, but the exhibit, I don't know if I said this before, but the exhibit goes up, we start hanging the art at the beginning of November. Extremely, extremely soon. So that's the other reason why she enticed me with this, because she said, this only has like a month turnaround, so you could just do this and get the experience and have it on your resume like very quickly right at this, start of the PhD. And that's kind of how I rationalize it as well. Like, okay, I don't have a major deadline happening right now, so I can just grind out this experience, this curation experience, and just get it on my resume. And then I think with the rest of the museum stuff, I might, once this is over, I'm probably just gonna take a more chill, go back to the archives, scanning pictures for a couple hours every week, and doing that kind of stuff, just to have. What I really want is just, I want the experience, but I also just need that chunk of time on the resume. I need to say, like, I worked in the archives at the museum for a year, or I, did whatever, some collection stuff for 6 months or something like that. Yeah, because you can really just, like, I just need to get that time in there. Yeah, so that's the museum thing. Oh, Mom says I'm frozen. Am I still frozen? frozen? Okay, Marley says no. Mom, not here. Okay, Mom, your internet just sucks. Okay, good. We are not frozen. Okay. Yeah, that's the story with the curation stuff. So that should be exciting. I mean, it is already exciting. There's this girl in my program who, she's one of those people. I like these kind of people. I tell her, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this volunteering at the art museum. She goes, oh, wow, oh my goodness, that's so amazing. I'm like, yeah, thank you, it is. She has such good reactions to things. I'm like, I like telling you stuff. You gas me up, and then I'll gas you up too. Okay, this is good. We can have this kind of reciprocal relationship. Yeah, it's nice. There's been a few social events recently, and I just haven't had the energy to go to them. Most of them, thankfully, are recurring, so I can, go next week. It's like every Wednesday they have some crafting event, or every week they've got something like that going on. Tomorrow I'm going on a walk with other PhD people. They're called PGRs. Postgraduate researchers. I'm just going to say PGRs to you guys now because that's actually what I am. I'm a PGR and I'm doing a PhD. And I'm not a student, technically. I am actually a researcher because no one is teaching me anything. I'm not going to classes or anything. I'm just doing research. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going on a walk with other PGRs. That should be fun. I want to meet more people. I've been seeing a lot of people lately, though. Like, every day I see people in the office and I introduce myself. And today there was a lecture with a visiting fellow from Germany. She came and told everybody about, why? Did you see that? Everything just erased. Why did everything just erase like that? What just happened? Oh my god. Ghost just possessed my freaking iPad. What the hell? Like, everything just erased. What just happened? I swear it's this pencil. The touch sensitivity on it. I don't know what just happened. It erased like half the stuff I just did. Damn it. Alrighty. Keep doing this again. It's always been doing that. I don't know what to do about this pencil. Maybe I can just, wonder if I can deactivate the touch part of it. Because I feel like I accidentally make it do stuff constantly. And I never actually use the functionality that it has of like switching between pencils and stuff. It's very unnatural. I don't like that motion. Procreate is acting crazy. What the heck? Okay. Thankfully that part I was working on was not anything too crazy. Okay, her jewelry's coming in nicely. Hooray! Anyone got any good plans for the weekend? Anything fun you're doing? Or anything fun just coming up in general? This weekend I am gonna stay in Leicester, but I'm going to go to... I saw through the archive work that I did that there are ruins of an abbey on the north end of town, which I didn't know about before. So I'm gonna go exploring and try to find them. They're like a 45-minute walk away, or I can take a bus like halfway there. So I'm gonna go try to explore and find this abbey. There's some other ruins and stuff. There's basically a bunch of stuff like on this farther end of town that I haven't been to yet. So I'm gonna go do that on probably Saturday. Yeah. Tomorrow I will go probably climbing. I've been climbing still. And there's a girl that I met. Her name is Susanna, all with Z's. She's from Poland. And I met her and her two friends climbing a couple of weeks ago. She's also doing a PhD, but she's doing it at a different university here. There are 3 huge universities here, and she's doing one at one of the other ones. And so we've been going climbing. We've gone twice together, so we're gonna go again. On Thursday, they have a ladies' night at my climbing gym. Oh, see that just popped up? I didn't touch that. What? Why? Why? Marley's gonna rest this weekend. That's good. You've been busy, you deserve to rest. Sometimes it is just so nice to just sleep and exist and rest and not be productive. We don't have to be productive all the time. Maybe that's me telling myself that too. Shelby, you don't have to be productive all the time. What? Yeah, I think that my mindset going into this PhD is like, must be as, on top of it as I can be, must be the best PhD student there ever was, must be better than everybody else. This mindset. And I think that's kind of toxic, so I need to work on that. It's hard to know like what the balance is though. It really is. It's really hard to know. Like, oh, this is a little like a little S swirl here. Yeah, it's hard to know like what is where's the line? Where's the line of like being lazy or not being productive enough or just making excuses or something? It's hard to tell. Any good restaurants or cafes in the city? Oh man, okay, so I haven't gone to any yet, but this city is probably the most diverse city that I've ever been to in Europe, and like in the UK, it is the most diverse city. The statistics are like over 50% of the student body at Leicester is a racial minority, and like that same amount are also international. So there's a huge Muslim population here. There are people from all over, like just people from all over. They're wearing like it's all kind of new to me, like this traditional clothing. I'm not sure where everybody is from. I need to get to know more people and talk to people, but there are restaurants here that are like international restaurants that I see all of these international people like constantly eating at, and a lot of people talk about how the food here is really good. So there's tons of Indian restaurants. There are so many Indian people here. There's tons of Middle Eastern stuff because it's lots of Middle Eastern people. And then what else they have? There's another demographic here. Shit, what is it? It's like India. Oh, and shit tons of Chinese people too. Like lots of Chinese people. the Chinese people are running all of the Asian restaurants. So I went to a Korean restaurant with my new friends a couple weeks ago, and it was like all Chinese people who were in there. They were all talking to each other in Chinese. But they made pretty good Korean food. But it was funny because it was definitely like sweeter and had a bit of like a Chinese Western Chinese like flair to it. Yeah, let's see, Leicester. Yes, I didn't know that about Leicester either. My friend, my other Charisse in my life, is from Leicester. She was born here. Her mom is from here. She's a black woman, and she told me, she was like, Leicester she loves it, and she loves the diversity of it. And to me, someone saying that they love their hometown is a very rare thing. No matter yeah, especially in America and even in the UK, it's not very often that you hear someone say, "Oh, I love my hometown." Like, yeah, you should go there. She encouraged me to come here, and yeah, the diversity here is just wonderful. The other morning, I woke up and there were just all of these like Arab kids and these like Muslim girls. They're wearing like long dresses. The men are wearing like those long kind of dress outfits, and the like teenagers, and then also like guys in their early 20s are wearing this traditional clothing, but then they'll have like a Western blazer over top of it. So it's such an interesting like mix of cultures, but like everywhere. Like I was walking out in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there was a mosque and a synagogue and a church all within like a couple blocks of each other, and I was the only white person I saw in that whole area. There were so many people, and I was like, I'm the only white person here. Like, this is crazy. In England, this is like the land of white people. But I love it. It was just great just watching, and it was all like kids walking around too. So that just shows you like how safe it is. And it was very cool. This place is really interesting. I think there's a lot of like international people, and the city is like such a mix of like, it's nice, but in some parts it's a little run down, and there's a lot of old stuff, but there's also a lot of like shitty new stuff. The city is like not too big, not too small. It's a bizarre place. Like, it's a bizarre place. It kind of doesn't feel real. It feels like nowhere else that I have been before. And I like it. But it's also, yeah, it's bizarre. It's a bizarre place. I went to a smaller village to go thrifting a couple weekends ago, and it was just completely different. It was like all white people, like all old white people everywhere. And it kind of shocked me because I'm like, oh man, my town is like extremely diverse. Like, extremely diverse in comparison to just this place that's like 10 minutes away. So very interesting. I should look into more of like the history of why that is, why there are so many immigrants here. I know that I saw a statue in the park that was like a Sikh man who is part of a regiment of the military. I guess there was a Sikh regiment in some war or something like that. So I don't really know. Yeah. I don't know why. I'll have to look it up. I'm sure there is some historical reason why there's so many international people flocking here. I love it though. I prefer it. I prefer to be around diversity, all different people and ways of thinking and life experiences and ways of living. It's very cool. Just have it. See, it did it again. It must. I don't know what it's doing this here for. Okay, we have just like 5 minutes. This is nice. Like, my drawing is at this place right now where I'm having a good time. Because I'm just adding details, and adding details is easy and fun and low pressure. So I'm enjoying this right now because all I've been doing is thinking about school and emotionally heavy things. Yeah, it's a cool place to learn and a very cool city. I'm happy that I'll be here for 4 years. Yeah, imagine like if I was in like Oxford or Cambridge or something like that. Like, those places are pretty and they're nice to visit, but what kind of people are going to be there? What kind of experiences and like walks of life are they going to be from? There's not going to be a lot of diversity in something, you know, in the communities there, you know, and it's going to probably be, you know, I'm sure there will be some diversity because that friend who is from Leicester, she's going to Oxford right now, but she's not living there. She's not living there because she freaking hates it. She just hates it. Yeah, so I think this place is such an interesting place. What the man? I swear to God. This thing is so annoying. The drawing looks cool. Thank you. I think it's looking pretty alright. I'm excited for whenever I finish this. It's been fun working on it slowly. This is definitely the longest I've ever taken on a digital piece of art. I used to sit and do this stuff like for, you know, in 1 or 2 sittings, 5 hours, just like get it done. 8 hours for like a really intricate one. I don't know how long I've spent on this yet. Keep seeing things. I'm convinced there's a ghost in here now. Okay. I think I'll stop there because I need to rest. And this has been fun. It's been a whole entire hour this time. Oh, let's see. You should take time to go to Cambridge and Oxford. I went to both of my travels, and Oxford is cooler to visit than Cambridge, but they seem like dull places to live compared to where you've been. Yes, I agree. Marley says I should visit Cambridge and Oxford, and that he has gone there as well, and they were cool places to visit, but might be kind of dull to live in compared to where I've been. Yeah, so I think I've been to both places. Yeah, I went to Oxford for an exhibit. I think I've been to both places. I can't really remember right now, and that's a huge privilege that I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I've gone to both Cambridge, but I should go there again because I think it was just like quick day trips. One of them, no, I did go to Cambridge when, like right after I finished my master's. I went down south and I went around to Stonehenge and Cambridge and Bath and just like went everywhere. I think, I don't remember. That was like pandemic time. It's all a blur. But I would like to go there again. I have a friend who lives in Oxford now, and no, she lives in Cambridge. I got it wrong. I have a friend who lives in Cambridge now, so I can go down there and visit her and go to Oxford. They both have good museums and things there, so it'd be well worth the visit, and like lots of beautiful old buildings. The iPad goes to Leicester. No! Yeah, I'll definitely visit. I'm making plans because I just got my discounted rail card, so I can go for places, go on the train now for like 30% off, something like that. So I'm going to go up to York, which is where like Diagon Alley inspiration is from, and maybe they filmed some stuff there. I'm gonna go up to York for Christmas because I have 3 friends, all Americans, who live there. So that they're all like archaeology people, and so one of them has a house and some cats. So I'm gonna go hopefully have like a nice little wholesome Christmas time with them for that weekend. And that'll be nice to get on a train for a couple hours, go far away and be in just kind of like a little English village for a bit, and then go exploring like the Christmas markets and stuff. So that'll be pretty fun. But in the meantime, between now and then, I'll probably make some more weekend trips to the little towns and things, and probably Cambridge actually. Probably go to Cambridge before December. What is it today? October 11th. So the next time we have a live stream, hopefully by then I will have done my conference presentation. So I still have to do that, if you remember. So I have, I'm preparing the research on the Egyptian artifacts for my master's to present at an Egyptian symposium and online. So that is on November 3rd or 4th. Yeah, I still have to put that together, but there's plenty of time. I still have like 3 weeks to do that. Yeah, by then I'll have done that, so I'll report back in on how that goes. Hopefully it goes all right, and by then also I will have turned in my 5,000 words about my topic, and hopefully have more of a direction for where things are going with my PhD. But it was nice talking to everybody. Thank you for coming again, as always, and I miss you all. Love you, and I hope you have a great day and stay safe and healthy.